Learning too babyish? Is Miacademy really a full curriculum? Which one should you choose? Let's compare the two so you can decide exactly which program is the better choice for your family. Let's start with some of the basics. Both Time4Learning and Miacademy can be used to homeschool kids from kindergarten through 12th grade. However, Time4Learning also offers a program for pre-K. Neither program offers a free trial, but with Miacademy you can get your first month for $1.99, whereas Time4Learning does not offer any first month discounts. Instead, Time4Learning offers a 14-day money-back guarantee. So if you cancel within the first 14 days, you can get a full refund. The cost of Miacademy is $36 a month for kindergarten through 8th grade and $40 a month for their high school program, Mia Prep, which is literally the exact same thing as Miacademy except with high school level courses. Time4Learning is $24.95 a month for pre-K through 8th grade and $34.95 a month for high school. Both programs offer discounts for additional students and annual subscriptions. Right now, Time4Learning is offering a discount where you can save $10 off your order by using the code and link I've shared with you in the video description below. So it's a good time to check it out. Both Time4Learning and Miacademy are not schools. They are online homeschooling programs, which basically means they are curriculums that are completed online. Since they are not schools, they cannot be accredited. However, both Mia Prep and Time4Learning offer online private school options if that's something you're interested in. Mia Prep has an online private school with the same name. The Mia Prep Online High School costs $400 a month with a discount for the first month where it will cost $298. Time4Learning is affiliated with Bright Spire Virtual School, an online private school for students in 6th through 12th grade that costs $3,990 a year. Confused about the difference between an online homeschooling program and an online school? Check out my recent video where I go into detail about each of these options, including which laws you need to follow depending on which you choose. Now let's talk about the courses that Miacademy and Time4Learning have to offer. With Miacademy, their basic curriculum includes math, language arts, science, and social studies. You can also add music and arts, life skills, biblical studies, and some foreign language options including French, Spanish, and American Sign Language. Time4Learning includes language arts, math, science, and social studies with their basic curriculum. If you want to add foreign language, it's an additional $59.95 for 6 months unlimited access to their Rosetta Stone-powered foreign language courses. For middle and high school, Time4Learning also has some additional elective courses in art, computer science, economics, and more. Now that we've covered the basics, let's take a look at the lesson format for each program. We'll start with Time4Learning. Here is the language arts course. For this video, I picked 5th grade. The course is divided up into chapters, and each chapter is divided into a series of lessons. Each lesson includes a couple of activities and a quiz at the end to check for understanding. Let's take a look at one of the lessons now.
Oh, hi, I'm Jason. Today we're going to talk about using verb tenses correctly. Have you ever watched a race? The drivers begin at the starting line and they end at the finish line. During the race, the start line is in the past, the race is in the present, and the finish line will be in the future. Say we wanted to write about this race. We could say, the drivers started together at the signal. No one has a big lead yet. It will be an exciting finish. In these 3 sentences, we use 3 different verb tenses to talk about the race: past, present, and future. Now let's look at our learning goals. By the end of this lesson, you will understand that verbs show time, past, present, and future. You'll also use verbs in the same tense to describe events that happen at the same time. Okay, let's get started. Let's talk about what you already know about verb tenses. You know that the 3 main verb tenses are the simple past, the simple present, and the simple future. For example, the frog ate an insect uses the simple past tense. And the frog eats an insect uses the simple present tense. Finally, the frog will eat an insect uses the simple future tense. You also know you can use the verb to be plus a verb with an ing ending to talk about the present. For example, the frog is eating an insect now. Now let's check out what you need to know about using verb tenses correctly. Let's see which verb tenses you can use to show action in the past, present, and future. The simple present tense is used to express a general fact, something that doesn't change, something that happens regularly, or steps in a process. For example, this batter usually hits the ball. The present progressive tense is used to express an action that's happening right now or something that's temporary and likely to change. Form the present progressive tense by using is, am, or are, and a verb with an ing ending. For example, look, this batter is hitting the ball. Now let's travel ahead to the future. The simple future is used to express an action that will happen at a later time. Form the simple future tense by using the helping verb will with a verb. Here's an example. I'm sure that Carlos will stop the other team from scoring. The future also has a progressive form. The future progressive tense expresses action that happens more than once or continues for some time. Form it by using will be with a verb that ends in ing. For example, Carlos will be playing goalie for a few more games. Now let's hit reverse and go back to the past. The simple past tense expresses an action that has finished in the past. For example, the bus left early. We walked to school. The past progressive tense is used to express a continuing action or one that repeats. Form it by using the helping verbs was or were with a verb that ends in ing. For example, the bus was leaving early again. The past progressive tense can also show an action that was happening in the past when another action happened, like this. As the bus was leaving, Ruby ran to the bus stop. It's important to keep verb tenses consistent when you write. Look at this paragraph. All the verbs are describing something happening in the present. Carlotta is learning to tie her ballet slippers. First, she crosses the laces in front of her ankle. Then she winds them behind her ankle. As a final step, she ties her laces in front and tucks the ends to keep them secure. If you are writing about an event in the past, keep the verbs in the past tense. In this paragraph, all the verbs are describing something that happened in the past. Our school chorus was performing at a special concert. We stood on stage and held the music in front of us. Then we looked at the conductor. When the conductor gave us the signal, we began singing. You'll want to do the same when you write about a future event. Keep all the verbs in the future tense. Look at this paragraph. All the verbs are describing something that's happening in the future. Soon a butterfly will be hatching from this chrysalis. First, the chrysalis will split open. Then the butterfly's wet wings will emerge. The butterfly will fan its wings slowly back and forth. Then the butterfly will take off. When you write, don't shift accidentally between past and present or present and future. That would just confuse your readers. Look at this sentence. The kite lifted high above the crowd before it spins out of control. The verb lifted is in the past tense, but the verb spins is in the present tense. The verb tenses do not match. They have shifted. Change the verbs so that they match. The kite lifted high above the crowd before it spun out of control. Or, the kite lifts high above the crowd before it spins out of control. Here's an incorrect example of shifting between future and present tenses. Sue will be the school patrol person next week. She will arrive at school early. She is carrying a flag for the whole week. Do you see the problem here? That's right. The first two verbs are in the future tense, but the last verb is in the present progressive tense. The paragraph should be corrected to read, Sue will be the school patrol person for next week. She will arrive at school early. She will be carrying a flag for the whole week. Make sense? Good job using past, present, and future verb tenses. Let's think about what you learned. Use different verb tenses to show action in the past, present, and future. Use verb tenses consistently when you describe past, present, and future events. Finally, don't shift between verb tenses. This will just confuse your readers. Have you got it? Great. Then let's move on. But if you're not sure, no problem. You can just watch this again.
So that's how a typical lesson on Time for Learning is going to look. Now let's switch over to Miacademy. The Miacademy lessons typically have a teaching section, practice section, and then an assessment at the end of the lesson. Sometimes the lessons include PDFs to read or print out and do offline. They also include videos. Let's take a look at a lesson now.
Hello, my name is Grace and welcome to Synonyms. There are many words in the English language we can use to communicate, and many words can be used to mean the same thing. But if we choose the same words over and over again, we can bore our friends and readers. In this video, you'll learn how to make sentences more interesting with synonyms. Synonyms are words that have a similar or same meaning. When we use synonyms in our speech or writing, we choose a variety of words that have a greater impact than words that are common or overused. Synonyms make the English language exciting. Syn means like or same, and nym is the Greek word for name. Same name or same meaning. Let's look at some examples of synonyms. The English language has over 1 million words, and it's growing all the time. Said is a common word used when writing dialogue or a conversation between two people, but it's a little too common. Anne said, "I am tired of reading this book. Let's jump on the trampoline for a while," said Peter. "Okay," said Anne. This passage is a little boring, isn't it? It uses the word said 3 times. Luckily, we can fix this text to be much more interesting by using synonyms. Other words that have a similar meaning as said are stated, declared, and replied. Can you think of how to use these words in the text instead of said? Anne stated, "I am tired of reading this book. Let's jump on the trampoline for a while," replied Peter. "Okay," declared Anne. Doesn't that sound much more interesting now? Even though the characters are still saying the same thing, the way it's narrated is now much more exciting. That's because we replaced the word said with synonyms, or words that can be swapped out with said. Can you think of other words you can use instead of said in your own writing? You can create a list to keep handy when writing stories. Let's look at one more. Going to the zoo was nice. The weather was nice. The animals were nice. Lunch was also very nice. Well, isn't that nice? Actually, as a good writer, I hope you don't think this passage is nice at all. In fact, it uses the word nice 4 times and makes the piece quite uninteresting. Let's use synonyms for nice to make this a lot more interesting to read. Can you think of some words that can be used instead of nice? I will use great, fair, lovely, and delightful. Going to the zoo was great. The weather was fair. The animals were lovely. Lunch was also very delightful. Now, isn't this a lot more enjoyable to read? As you can see, synonyms make a big difference in what you write as well as how you speak. You can go from plain words to entertaining recounts in seconds. If you can't think of synonyms on your own, you can use a handy tool called a thesaurus to guide you. A thesaurus is a lot like a dictionary, only rather than definitions, it lists synonyms. If you don't own a thesaurus, you can find many online. That's all for this video, but you should keep practicing what you learn on our fun games and quizzes. Thanks for being so great, wonderful, amazing, charming, friendly, likable, good-natured, agreeable. Until next time, always be clever.
Now that we've seen a sample of the lessons from each program, let's look at some of the other features. We'll start by looking at the parent setup for each program. One thing these programs have in common is they both offer a lot of customization options for parents. I go into this in a lot more detail in my full reviews of each program, but we'll just do an overview here so you can get an idea of what each one is like. We'll look at Time4Learning first. So here's the main screen you'll see when you log on as the parent. Below, you'll see some information about your child's progress. If you click on Manage Students, you can add additional students here and change some of the information for your child. Most importantly, this is where you will come if you want to adjust the grade level for a particular subject. Just click on Update Courses and you can change the grade level up or down or remove a subject altogether. The most important tab to pay attention to here is the Lesson Planning and Reports. You can click on View Lesson Plans to see exactly what will be covered in each of the lessons, which can help you choose the grade level and which lessons to include. But if you want to get really detailed, click here on Activity Planner. Here you can set things up either by how quickly you want your child to move through the curriculum or by exactly which lessons you want your child to complete each day. If you choose Curriculum Calculator, just put in the start and end dates and how many days a week you want your child to work, and it will show you how many activities your child will need to complete for each subject to meet the goal. If you click on Detailed Plan, you can make more advanced selections. Put in your start and end dates and select which subjects to include. Click Choose My Material, and this is where you can remove anything that you don't want to include in your child's curriculum. You can also remove quizzes and tests if you wish, and set the redo score if you like. Once you've saved your plan, you can also go back in and set specific days of the week for lessons. You can also mark lessons complete here, although Time4Learning will automatically keep track of this for you. This is also where you will go to grade any lessons that require a parent to grade. I'll show you the progress reports a little later in the video, but first let's look at how you can customize the curriculum on Miacademy. When you log in as the parent, this is what you'll see. Click on Curriculum to make adjustments. The courses that are currently assigned will show here. You can add or remove a course by clicking here. This is how you can adjust the grade level for each course or remove it altogether. You can scroll down to add courses from some of the additional categories, such as music and arts or biblical studies. If you click on the calendar for any course, you can set the days of the week that each course should be studied. You can also adjust the start and end dates, which will affect how many lessons should be completed each day to meet the goal. If you want to get really detailed with the lessons, click on View Course. You can open this Settings button and make a course required, set the passing grade, and enable free input questions. You can also remove a unit or individual lesson here. So that's similar to Time4Learning in that you can choose exactly which lessons are covered. Now let's see what's different on the student dashboard. Here is what your child will see when they log on for Time4Learning. Below are the courses they can choose from. There's no particular order they need to go in, nor is there any indication of how much work they need to complete for the day. They just pick a course and start a lesson. However, if the parent has gone in and created an activity plan, then your student should instead go to My Plan. Here they will see the work they should complete by week. So this is a better way to stay organized and on track rather than just randomly starting lessons. Students can view their progress reports here. Under Time for Fun, students can view artwork submitted by other students and submit their own. The game room has some different games your child can play when they need a little break from learning. Now let's take a look at the student section of Miacademy. When your child logs on, the first thing they will see is their learning path. This shows the lessons that are on their schedule for the day. They can do these lessons in any order, and they can go ahead if they like, but in general, they would come here and just do the lessons for the day. If they click on all lessons, they can access the full library of lessons for their level. This can be helpful if they need to go back and see a lesson again. The rest of what we see up here is where Miacademy really differs from Time for Learning. The My World and community features, which are not something that is available on Time for Learning. My World is an area where they can go to spend the gold they earn from completing lessons, create designs to share with other students, and race against other kids in the dragon race. There are also user-submitted videos to watch and a community area. I get into all of this more in my full review of Miacademy, but basically, this is all just ways for kids who are using Miacademy to connect with each other and be part of a community. If you don't want these features, you can turn them off in the parent settings. Lastly, before I give you my personal opinion on which program I would pick, let's just take a quick look at the reporting features. As we saw before, when you log in as the parent on Time for Learning, you will see a quick snapshot of your child's progress here. But if you click on Lesson Planning and Reports and then View Reports, this is where you can generate different reports. If you choose View Report as Student, you can view recent work, assignments, and create attendance reports. You can also generate a custom report here based on different parameters that you input. On Miacademy, you can go here to view and print your child's attendance report. If you click on Reports, you can create and print a report showing your child's grades and course study time for each subject. Okay, so now I'm pretty sure I've shown you everything you need to know about Time for Learning and Miacademy. So which should you choose for your child? It's a tough decision, but let me tell you what I think. And of course, this is really going to depend on the individual child, which is one of the things that makes homeschooling so great. Being able to choose a program or curriculum for your child based on their individual needs and learning style. So let me tell you what I think are the pros and cons of each program. We'll start with Time for Learning. One thing I like about this program compared to Miacademy is that the lessons seem more comprehensive and interactive. Where on Miacademy, you will watch a video first and then practice what you learned. Time for Learning often has questions integrated in the lessons, which I like better. I also like that Time for Learning is very simple and straightforward. There's no gold coins or community features to worry about. Your child can just log on, complete their lessons for the day, and then log off and be done with screen time. Whereas on Miacademy, there's a lot to play around with, which could end up distracting them and lengthening the time they spend online before they actually complete their schoolwork. What I like about Miacademy is that the video lessons feature real people. Time for Learning often uses cartoons to teach lessons, which can be frustrating for older kids. I also like that the lessons on Miacademy are short and to the point, whereas on Time for Learning, they often repeat concepts multiple times, which can be annoying for kids that learn faster. And if you want your child to feel like part of a community and interact with other kids, then it's nice that Miacademy has that to offer. Miacademy also has more elective options included with the program than Time for Learning. Other than those few things, the programs are pretty similar. They both offer video lessons and online practice problems and quizzes. They both allow you to really customize the curriculum, so your child is learning at the right level for each subject. Although I will say I think Time for Learning offers a bit more customization than Miacademy. So, which one would I choose for my child? Well, I personally think Time for Learning is the better choice as far as curriculum goes. But that's only if your child is willing to do the program. For a lot of kids, the repetitiveness and somewhat babyish lessons might not work. And if they hate the lessons, then they aren't really learning anything, are they? So it's really up to the child. And for a lot of kids, I think Miacademy might work out better because the lessons are less babyish and more to the point. So my advice, choose the program that your child is more likely to enjoy, because that's when real learning happens. Check out my full reviews of both programs to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more in-depth curriculum reviews and online homeschooling programs. Thank you so much for watching.